For those, we apologize for those who didn't make it because of time, the change of time. However, we have to finish this weekend, and then we'll start to take some retrospective actions afterward, which would be for those who want to continue on the program. All right, I'm going to start off with last week. I think we're supposed to have a question. Let me see if I have that for you guys. A kind of a knowledge check. Yeah, that should be quiz 4. If I'm correct. Yeah. So I'm going to share my screen. All right, so we have just a quiz that we need to test extra knowledge on. Starting from the 3. Let's take a look at this. The first destination an inbound email gets to in exchange online protection is transport rule. Is it true or false? You can put your answer there. The first place, you remember we did outbound and inbound flow last week. The first place an outbound email gets to in an exchange online protection is outbound anti-malware filter. That is, if email is going out of the organization, where is it going to get to? Is it going to be anti-malware filter it's going to get to or not? Is it true? The first destination in an inbound email gets to in an online page is anti-malware. Is it true or false? Now, the third one, I believe, or fourth one can trace email on Exchange admin portal as well as admin center. Is it true or false? One can create transport rule in Exchange admin portal as well as admin center. Is it true or false? One can, yes, as well as admin center. The last one is one can provide mailbox delegation in both Exchange admin center and as well as admin center. Is it true or false? The last one is the MX Toolbox and the MX Microsoft Connectivity are good tools in managing message header and DNS. In managing message header, I think it's supposed to be in troubleshooting. That probably question might be wrong, but whichever way, I'm going to leave it as it is. I guess the managing message header, yes, you can do some level of troubleshooting with that. So I've already given you the answer. All right, so let's go over this. From what we did last week, our destination, the first destination of an email box will, of course, it's not transport rule. We had that last week. It's not transport, it's connecting filter. That's why you looked at the what's it called? The IP address and all that before it gets to that. Now, the first place an outbound mail gets to in an exchange this in anti-malware, yes, this is true because it gets to that before it gets outside the organization. It checks if the message has antivirus, and then before it gets to this is true. The third one, the first destination an email gets to in an exchange is anti-malware. That is not the first one. This also the same thing as this one. So it's not transport through, it's not anti-malware, but it's part of where it's going to get to. The very first place it gets to is disconnecting filter, anti-malware filter. So we have this one. one can trace email on Exchange Admin Portal and as well as Admin Center. That is not true, because you can trace on Exchange Admin Portal, not on Admin Center. You can trace email on that. There's an email trace. We all know that. And one can create a transport rule in Exchange Admin Portal as well as this. This also false. You can only create this on Exchange Admin Center, not on Exchange Admin Portal, not on Admin Center. One can provide a mailbox delegation in both Exchange Admin Center and as well as Admin Center. Yes, we have team email. You can create share mailbox on Admin Center. You can also create share mailbox on Exchange Admin Center, and that's where you can provide delegation for either of them. So this is true. MX toolbox and micro-connecting are good tools in managing message ESA. So in this case, this is true, because it referred to as good tools in managing, even though the word managing is you can just say in troubleshooting, probably the right word. In troubleshooting the message header, because you are not making any changes, you're only analyzing it based on the result you get. So I'm going to leave it at that, and then we'll go to what we have. Any questions on that? You guys have you have anybody pending? Any question? Any question? All right. So if there are no questions, then we'll move into the things we have for today. Quick one, it's just going to be a knowledge base, and then it will introduce us to what we'll be doing in advanced class, because that's where you all know that whatever you are having is just to be more preliminary to get you introduced into an environment where you can then begin to have more details of what you are going to what you are going to be getting into to come. So we have these are the things we're going to cover for the last part. We are covering SharePoint, we are covering Teams, we are covering Purview, and we are covering security admin. It's overview. Let's take a look at what we mean by SharePoint. If you heard about SharePoint, from time to time, you can be a SharePoint admin. You see, each of these, they are SharePoint engineer, SharePoint OneDrive engineer, they are Teams engineer, and they are Purview engineer or compliance engineer, and they are security engineer, which we refer to as cybersecurity these days, officer or whatever it is. So we're going to have overview between now and tomorrow, which will come back to the end of the program. Of course, it's a continuation of what we're going to be having, from here. Now, what is SharePoint? It's a platform. It's what we can see like, when you talk about websites, when you talk about websites, right? A website, it's something that is open on the internet, right? But SharePoint is something that is within. We have two people waiting. Let me get that in. So, sorry, we had to change a lot, otherwise I would have probably done so we have so what is SharePoint? So like I said, so let's define it as collections of sites, web paths, and pages. And then, of course, we talk about what is sites. So SharePoint has a one, how do we call it? Because let me put it this way. A page can make a site. There are some websites that only have maybe few pages. So they have home, they have this, they have this. I probably need to just give you an example of what I'm talking about. And then so you understand what I'm saying. So when I now talk about SharePoint, and now that you understand what I'm talking about. Let's take a look at this is a website. I can see it. Let's just say maybe it has about 4 pages. That's about 4 pages, right? And then you go to this one, you go to this one, the contacts and all that. It's just a website. Why are you being able to see it online directly? Because it is external. Everybody can query it. It's hosted somewhere and all that. But SharePoint is internal. You need to be able to log in, be able to see the information on it. An example, I'm going to use my organization as an example. And then we are going to also use, I think we can use the one that we have already, if I'm correct. We have, what's this one? Well, this is a different page. Okay. I can pull this one from, put our distance from here, because we still need to connect to it anyway. You asked me to put my, which I believe every one of you has. This account will be available for people for about a week. Then after about a week, then we'll take it off. Hopefully, we know that at least for anybody who wants to continue, then we'll continue with us if you have this account on our platform. Then those who want to continue will be given license, and then they can continue with their work. This is OST 0ST on Microsoft. Oh, sorry. All right, so we have, let's go to what we have to go to under SharePoint. So we'll go to the SharePoint admin. As an admin, you have access to this because we provided all the assets for you guys to be able to see. And then we look at the sites here so you understand what it is. Now, you see here, one is with Teams and then one is without Teams. Remember when I was talking about creating groups and all that, I think I did mention some few things about it. Now, you see also this one, it has only the URL, and this one doesn't. But let's take a look at this. I don't know if they have something. Oh, I did not have permission? Really? So I can grab myself permission anyway. That's not the issue. Maybe somebody created it. Some of our class person created it. Yeah, most of that created it. So let me go to the one that is all company. And okay, here is it. So you can come in this form, just for sharing. You can come with the themes. You could see here something like this, themes, meaning that it could be part of the team. I'm going to also show you a few things too as well. Because you have access to all these things, so that's why I'm showing you this. So the one that has to do with teams. Now, take for instance my own organization here. I have several of these, for instance, and I have, you see, any of these channels. These are channels. We have channels. We have Teams chats. These are chats. All these chats, and these are channels, teams and channels. All these teams and channels, they are SharePoint on their own, where people can get information, get the dissing and all that. So let's take a look at, let's say, yes. So those are where you can see a whole lot of things here, right? That is one. You can share this, but at the same time, it's on the team channels. And then you see people can also make chats here, maybe two people group chat and all that. So just giving you an idea of what I'm now. I'm making some distinctions here. Now to see why, if you see this kind of a group, it has teams, meaning that inside team, you can share files within that teams and groups, right? But this one it doesn't have any group. When it was created, not to have group. And so when you are creating, which you can, if you are creating a SharePoint site, it will tell you what kind of site you want to create. And then you make an option whether you want to have the one that will have teams for collaborations, or they want just to have a communication site. So the communication site is the one that looks like a page, like a website. But now in this case, this communication, you can only access it if you are within the environment. So I'm going to give you an example of what I'm talking about in terms of the site now. Now, giving you the difference between the two of them, then we can also get to see the difference in terms of the sites. We're going to be checking. I don't know whether it is here. 1 minute. Let me see if there's a note here. Okay, it's not here. Internal information. Okay, so let's look at this. Now I'm going to put this one on this on this. I'm not going to use this one because to not allow it to work. I'm going to put it on my own environment because I have a login already, and I'm also a SharePoint admin for that environment. So it will not ask me to sign in. The reason why it's not allowing me to sign in now, this is on the internet, right? But it's intranet. Now you will see that even though if you want to access this site, I can access this site anywhere in the world, but I have to sign in first. Meaning that it's only people who have privilege that can be able to access it. And that's why we can call it intranet, because it's within the organization. So, but it looks like a website, right? It looks like a website, right? Now, so what we are saying now is that this same site, you see, it looks like a site that you can use, customize, it can be used for sharing documents here and there. So that is what this is all about. Now, let's go back to the study now. So now a site is a website that contains various SharePoint objects such as pages, documents, libraries, and calendars. So I've just explained what a site is. But SharePoint is a collection of those sites, web parts, and pages, meaning you've seen what we've seen now. SharePoint covers so many things. Whether it's a site, we call it the SharePoint platform. It's a whole general one. Now, what is site collection? It's just a groups of sites, normally organized by development, projects, cross-functional groups, and all that. So basically, a site collections is a group of sites. So we have a site already, and then we have site collections, like what we saw um, just now. Was it this one? Yeah, where you say active sites. All these sites are SharePoint collections. These are all the things we've seen on various sites. And then we have web parts. That is when you design, like we did for the other one. So design part of it is web part. So let's quickly go to what is this. So basically, SharePoint is just a place where you share file, you share it, something that will make you to be able to share file, and all that. Now, so we can see here that we have site collection on top. We have sites. Inside the sites, we have library, we have folders, we have items, and then of course the same thing. We have site collections, a group of all different sites, and then from there we have different things, information for different departments. Then the permission. So we could see that it goes down the line. Site collection level for all the sites. For the site, in your advanced class, we'll be choosing a lot of permissions. And then we'll be talking about how you can grant access to another person on the site level, on a list level, library level, on a folder level, on the item level. These are all part of the permission we're seeing in that. And then, of course, you can try them out. You can create sites, you can create the same way yourself. You have the permission to do so. And then, of course, will be removed later on, but just to tell you that you have permission to do so on our test environment. Now, what's there between between OneDrive and SharePoint? So, let's take a look at this. Now, in those days, when somebody wants to, you buy a laptop, and then you buy Windows, maybe Office 360, let's say maybe Office 2010, Office 12 or 2012, or whatever it is, call it. You buy it, install it. Now, when you install that thing, it's going to be inside your desktop. And then, so when you want to save, you save into your drive, right? I remember when I was doing my project and I've worked on it for almost a whole day, but I didn't save. Phew, light went off and my battery couldn't cover it. And that's how I lost everything. Then there's something called autosave at the time, which help you to save, because I will rely so much on autosave that autosave will save me. Autosave did not save me. So Microsoft now built up something called OneDrive. So as OneDrive, if I'm making the changes to this now, as I'm making the change to this document, this automatically will be on autosave. You see on top of the left side of it. Meaning that whether I do anything, that it will be saving somewhere for me. So what happens if I lose my system? What is happening? All I need to just remember my ID and my password. Any system I log in with my ID and my password, I'll still get all my files. That's the beauty of OneDrive. So if your whole house is having problem or the whole company is burnt, they will still be able to retrieve all their files because they are using OneDrive. Now, and then we also now talk about OneDrive for business. One is personal, one is for business, meaning that for commercial. So basically they are the same. The only thing is that what you use to sign in, you will recognize that this one is for commercial and this one is for OneDrive. For business, OneDrive for business. So now, where does it store? So every time you save, you do something, you edit something, or you send something, or whatever it is, it will go and store, or not on your system. You go and store somewhere in Microsoft's cloud environment. So, and that's exactly what is playing out here. If you look at it here, a lot of people are working remotely and are doing their thing. They come to OneDrive, and then for them to be able to, bypass it, it has to be uploaded to upload center. And then in that upload center is a big server, thousands of terabytes or so server that OneDrive is taking, SharePoint is taking, and the receiver is taking. So we can see it that way. That's you see the within it. So when you are doing anything, the man is like doing anything as he's making changes to all his files, he's syncing it to either OneDrive for business if it's business work, or personal web drive, web OneDrive, and it's going straight to a big server called OneDrive. So if the person want to release his phone, is if want to release get access to this one, of course, ordinarily all he needs to do is just have access to this to his ID, and then he will get. So if the laptop of the person get lost, this person will still be able to see all this information on OneDrive and all the information on OneDrive for business. So now that's what it is. You can see it there. Now coming to the second part of it. The second part of it is where files are shared in a group. So if I'm doing something and then it's in my own OneDrive, I can't see what you are, I can't see what, but as the moment it becomes a group, maybe I establish a chat message as a group, or I establish a group that I'll be sending messages or whatever it is, then it means that so what it means that content will be sent to the SharePoint site. Because you could see here, we have two persons here. One is my document, the other one is a team document. So when he or she is working in any of this at all, it will be for our house orders, not for sorry, not excuse me. So you will see here, you see, so you could see here my document and then also my team document. So that's big differentiation right there. So for OneDrive for business, you will see the major difference is going to be going to OneDrive for business, but immediately it becomes something that is sharing anything document that is shared, team site, and all that, it goes to SharePoint. So that's just the difference. You will see the difference between the two. So one is going to OneDrive for business and one is going to the. Now you will see here on I'm clicking up on arrow here. If I click on arrow here, this one is for all my own documents within my own system. If I click here, it will say, I want you to sync my document, to sync everything within my own system here, and then to take them to the cloud. But if it's doing that, where is it going to? It's going to OneDrive for business. But what if I decided to share documents that are here, that I'm sharing with people, or we are collaborating and all that? All those documents that we're collaborating with people, where is it going to? It's going to where? SharePoint, because that's where we have all our information. There's a joint or shared information that goes to SharePoint. That's the essence of this too. Let's go to Teams. I mean, if anybody has any question on that. Sorry, I became so tired in between. Does anybody has a question on that? Okay, so let's go forward. So we move Teams. So today we're just going to do overview, and then tomorrow we'll do some practice on it. So today, when you talk about Teams, Teams is generally used, of course, like I said, you can also be a Teams engineer. So just give you an heads up. Teams, where's that Teams? So it's a platform for collaborations, and that's for just like Zoom we are using now. Most organizations use Teams, but one-on-one, and then if you are doing something business that has to do with people generally, that doesn't have Teams, you use you use Teams. If you have to do with people that are within your organization, but if it's not with our organization, in most cases people use their Zoom, and that's why we are using Zoom. If you have Teams, every one of us has Team here. I can also use Team to discuss with you. But then it comes in web interface. It comes with desktop apps. It also comes with mobile app. And then we have the key features, of course, persistent chats and channels, meetings and video conferences, and then we have file sharing collaborations, like we talked about, and then we have integration with apps. You can integrate different apps inside it. So we have voice calling, which has to do with DID phone number, and then we have security and compliance, right? So now, quick one on the architecture. So architecture here is pretty much straightforward, but I mean, I can just explain in the why. Already we saw we have Teams generally, and then we have web, and we have a desktop, we have iOS, we have Apple, and we have Graph itself. So we have we did different categorizations. So we have, in the categories of, you could see here, you see files. If it is the web, you can check through the file, which is the web, which is SharePoint file. And then you could also see here, we have Office Online, all those ones that have to do with Office Online, other workloads under Teams. Then, of course, if it is either it's Electron now, which is desktop Electron, you will see something like, I think this is being experimental, we can skip this. Then if for iOS and Apple, you can download it and then it can begin to work with you have your ID. The same way too for Android app too as well. So you can download it on Android and then you can begin to chat, with whoever you want to chat with. Now for Graph API, we have certain functionalities that help you to call outside the network. I used to have a Teams number, which helped me to come outside the network, especially. And so basically, you have that calling. Now, what is PSTN? PSTN is your regular call, your regular public switch network, your popular call, like you are calling somebody on a regular line, either UK, US line. But the Teams has functionalities through the Microsoft Graph API that is now being used. Initially, it's not being used. So we allow you to call anybody in certain places with a particular very cheap rate, and then you can call. And the Teams will assign you a number as well that you can be using to call, that PSTN number. So it will be routing voicemail message to the person who is also receiving a PSTN. So the person will not know the difference. You understand? So the person will not know the difference between the PSTN and then when you are calling directly from your phone using Teams. So that's the functionality that we have. On compliance, for those who are going to be going to be of legal or working with legal departments, you need to pay attention to this one because it has so many things in it as far as compliance. So basically, we want to have regulation in an organization. Basically, we want to be able to say, this is what you can do, this is your power, this is your limits, don't go beyond this and all that. And that's especially exactly what the regulation majorly. So public compliance portal is also to offer M365 integrated solutions that help organizations protect and govern data, mitigate and meet compliance needs. So in most cases, you go into it because you have compliance needs. That's the truth. And then from compliance needs, then you begin to say, this is how it went. Okay, can we do this? Can we have this one? But there are several people who wanted to change their career and then they just focus on just Microsoft Purview and compliance because there's so much to work with. And usually most people of this, they work with HR and also work with, what's it called? And then the liquid team, basically. So we have, these are these things that we are going to be looking at, when we get to the advanced. We have audits, we have compliance, we have settings, we have communication compliance, we have manager, compliance manager, and all that. It's very, very, very key. The last time I checked, I think I sent something to, I didn't get any response. So my point is, so these are things that you see, and each one of them has a lot of roles and the definition of those roles. Very, very, very. So with this just 5, you say, maybe just 5. It's not just 5. At the end of the day, it might be up to 30, no, what am I talking about? Might be up to 60 people who are going to be in this position. So we have that Purview, and then the one and the most important part of it is, okay, we have catalog, we have daily stand-up, we have data life management, cycle management, and then all these are things we are going to be covering at advanced level. So security. The first level of security we need to know is the Microsoft Defender for Security Office. So that's very, very important. And then it's a cloud-based solution, and then provide advanced threat in emails, collaboration tools here and there. So, and that's exactly what we are talking. So Microsoft Defender for Office 365. We'll be taking a look at this. So we are more concerned in security that will not breach their own system. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so security, we have a Microsoft Defender, and we have a lot of flavors of Defender, Microsoft Defender security, because of the we have the one that has to do with AI, Copilot. We have the one that has the product family, Defender, the one we are talking about now. And then Defender can be deployed to Microsoft Entra. It can be deployed to Intune. It can be deployed to Purview or Sentinel. It can be defined. So we have all these. So we have all these flavors for security under identity management. Security under identity management, you can also see there. You can store your key on Azure Vault. You can store it using the same method. So we have so many things that you can do under your intent terms of security. So some people will just say, "Oh, I want to go and do security." That's fine, as long as at the end of the day you're better off than what you're better off with that. So, and that's what I can say on that one. So I think what was the last part of it. Again, these are just a bit. This was the last part of it, and then we have Microsoft Defender for 365 Protect part. Now, so we have different layers in an organization. The first layer we have is the networking layer. That networking helps you to know the IP, domain, help you to filter the right objects to Office 365, not all. So those are the perimeter. You see edge. Those are the ones in perimeter, what they are going to do in the perimeter. And then you have the sender intelligence. This is what they are going to be receiving, when they're actually looking at the intelligence. Then third, we have a content filtering. These are the things that will happen if you open your email and you see, okay, this is not right, or this is that. These are the things you're going to detect. So we have the edge protection, which is the perimeter level. We have the very first one that it's the internet. So with sender intelligence. Then we have what called the content filtering, which has to do with your the email that you are checking. And then, of course, we all know that there's something called 0-hour purge, which means that if you're using contain malicious or whatever it is, and you just open it, maybe the sender intelligence will not pick it, the edge will not pick it, and they open it. What do you think will happen? There's something called 0-hour purge. It will automatically seize the control of the email box, and then make sure that that mail is not sent to another group of people. So we have post-delivery protection. This is after the mortgage. Which one is post-delivery? So we have a post-delivery. Now, post-delivery is I think I'm going to explain it from the content and the post-delivery. Now, while your message is seen in transit, you can see custom transport rule. While your message is seen in transit, there's something that is checking your mail, like checking the behavior of your mail. Is this supposed to be as light as this? Is it just heavy because it's just light? Now the person will check. I mean, the machine will check. Now, by the time it now lands on the post delivery protection, that's where 0 hour port comes in. So I made a mistake while I'm talking about content filtering. So the 0 hour port is when you open the mail. But before you open the mail, there's a content that something is scanning to that content to be sure that there's something that is not replicating. Okay, take for instance, I'm expecting a package, and that package was supposed to be 10 items. So I can easily just touch that package and see the small item and say, it's up to 10. And then that is where it's in the transport route. But if the machine is detecting and say, oh, I'm supposed to be 10, but I'm seeing 9 or 8, what is it going to do? It's going to send it to quarantine. And then that's what also, when you come to the last part, which is the post delivery, that's where the 0 hour. So if you open an email, and then that email now seems to have some kind of malicious that want to start, releasing itself, or want to start putting harm into the distance, then the 0 hour podcast comes, sees the control of the mail, and then strip you off, you being able to check it. If it is malware, it will take it off, you won't be able to open it. If it is 0 hour purge, it will put it will push the it will write the links. If it's a link, it will write the links. If it's a content, it will prevent you from opening that if it now says it contains something. So basically that's what this is all about. But of course, you can just have an idea on the low and high level. There's more to be done on all these things. Very, very more to be done. Of course, the deployment is very much easy. Configure the email authentication, configure and protect policies, assign permission, protect accounts and logs. So basically, that's what it is all about. And then you can see them in that order. So priority, configure users reporting setting, block entries, attack simulation training, which if you are the engineer on that, you have to carry out attack simulation training, so that you want to see the strength of your people, whether they will click on the link or not, whether they need more training or not. You need to be able to provide that for them. Investigate and respond. So we have something in existence with Microsoft that will allow you to, we investigate things that we are going to take a look at, where investigation and respond there when we get to tomorrow. So basically what I want you to do is just to go review the security center, Purview center, Teams admin center, and then I believe you can create some You can create some SharePoint sites or teams where you can begin to grant 1 or 2% that you have created permission on that. So basically more straightforward to use. Just go over here. We are from the admin. We have Teams. We have SharePoint here, and then we have Teams. So I'm going to go over the overview of the system properly tomorrow, and then we'll do create some tests. And then we have Teams here, and then we have Teams. So this is Teams. All right. So we have sites, we have Teams, and then what else again? We have Purview, which is Microsoft Purview now. It used to be Compliance Center. So we have Microsoft Purview, and then you have security, Microsoft Security. So those are the things with the okay. Please do go through it. I'm really, we've seen I'm really tired. I'm even in between. I've been up since very early in the morning. We are doing some few things. Apologies for my gaps. So we have so please go over it. You have access to all this. Just go over the overview of those, and then we will get to see what we can do tomorrow in conclusion. Of course, these are, there are so many things to configure, there are so many things to do, so many things. I trust me. But we'll give you just go over on few overviews, and then and then we'll begin to work with that, right? So I'm going to stop my share. Any question? My soccer team took a lot of my time today. I've been like out since morning, and I have another section. I have some people doing some testing for me, and then I didn't even have the time for it. No question. All right, guys, please take a look at it, and then we conclude tomorrow, and we'll go from there. Right. All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks, everyone. See you tomorrow.